Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock and I will officially call the TRTA District 8 Fall Conference to order. A few administrative notes, please. Please adhere to the mute and unmute as we continue through our time. We will have 3 co-hosts. That's Becky Sarlino, George Kale, and Andy Kirby, and they will help me to help facilitate our meeting today. If for some reason you drop off, you can certainly come back. We want you to be present. And we are recording the conference for our district records. At this time, I would ask George Kale, our parliamentarian, to offer our invocation.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many blessings that you've given us. We pray for those that are sick, and we ask for your blessings on those here today. We pray for our schools, our country, and our leaders as we're facing many challenges in today's world. Guide our path, make us responsible for our neighbor, and help us to love and serve you in all we do. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Andy Kirby, our first vice president, will lead us in our pledges. And if you are able, if you would stand at your location, if not, you could certainly sit. Andy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with
liberty and justice
for all.
France is a country of life. Angela Merkel.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Andy. At this time, Ruby Brown, our secretary, will take roll call. She will call your local unit name, and if the president or the representative will unmute, state your name, and tell us how many total members you have with us today, please. Miss Ruby?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Camp County. Camp County. Can you hear me? Okay. Cass County. Cass County. Eastern Cass County.
Carolyn Lance, 1 member attending.
Franklin County. Franklin County.
Minnie Birdsong, 1 member attending.
Harrison County. Harrison County. Hopkins Rains County.
Barbara Williams, for a total of 3 members attending.
Thank you. Puget Springs County. Puget Springs County. Lamar Delta County. Lamar Delta County.
Rawson, 8.
8. Longview Gregg County.
George Kale, and we have 5 members currently present.
Morris County.
Joan Cook, 1 member present.
Mount Pleasant, Tatus County.
Susan Arnold, we have currently 4 attending.
Oil Patch. Oil Patch.
Okay, sorry, I had to unmute. Renee Steele, we have 2 attending that I see. I think we're supposed to have another one show up.
Okay, thank you. Red River County. Red River County. Texarkana, Bowie County.
Mark Roberts, and
Texarkana.
we have 5 members present, including myself.
Okay, good job. Upshur County. Upshur County. Western Bowie County.
Melissa
West-
Rainey. Melissa Rainey, we have 3 members present.
Wood County. Wood County.
We have 2 here. We have 2.
Thank you.
Did you ever do it?
All right, Ms.
President.
Ruby, I do see Clemmy. I believe that's Clemmy Copeland from Harrison. So if you will mark that for Harrison County, please.
Okay, that's 1.
Yes, ma'am, and we'll confirm.
Thank you.
that. See her.
Ruby,
Yes,
this is Renee Steele from Oil Patch, and I do see my 3rd member here now.
so does that make 3 in all or 4?
3 in all, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Ruby.
Thank you.
All right, welcome, good morning. It's a great day to be in District 8. So I welcome all of your members. You know, normally we would be gathering at the service center and we'd be hugging old friends and shaking hands with new ones. But today, ladies and gentlemen, you know, District 8 is boldly going where no fall conference has been before. That's a virtual meeting. You know, these are unprecedented times that require unprecedented actions to keep us involved, keep us informed, and keep us active so that we can make a difference in our local unit, our district, and at our state levels. The conference will offer valuable information and insight. And so we want to make sure we share that, and please share that with your members. Our objective is to respect your time this morning. We do have a specific timeline that we want to try to stick with, and we may have to adjust some agenda items as we go so that we can move smoothly along. If by chance some members do join us later, if you will follow up with me or Miss Ruby so we can make sure we get a count. It looks like we have a full house today, almost, if I'm counting, almost 50 members. And, you know, that's exciting, and we do appreciate very much moving forward. Without further ado, we are going to go ahead and move into our program. It is with a great honor I introduce our legislative chair. You know, he has brought and continues to bring a vast experience and knowledge that we need to make Austin understand and support the Texas retired teachers. May I introduce Dr. Charles Thompson.
Okay, thank you, President Julie. I get up close. We invited all of our legislators, 8 of them, and I know Senator Hughes will be on in a little bit, and Jay Deans, Representative Jay Deans should be here in a little bit. I just was told that Dr. Gary is quarantined and he might be here. I don't know if he can do this from home. But anyway, the one thing we want to know is we invited all the legislators back 30 or 40 days ago, and I've been keeping them posted. And the one thing I'm hoping one of them would tell us is, are we going to be able to be at the Capitol next spring? Right now, the Capitol is locked down and they're having conferences, and a lot of those fellows are doing it by Zoom. So if we could introduce them, we'll see who's here. Can you see if Brian is signed in, or Senator Hughes?
I do not see him at the present time, but we will watch for him to coming in.
Yeah, he was going to log in at 8:25.
Okay. All right. And again, we're just a little ahead of schedule there.
Okay. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about now, except the Social Security concerns. And I was hoping Tim would have something for us, but we're still waiting on what they're doing in Washington. So we may not know anything there for another month or two. So anyway, if you need to proceed, and when Senator Hughes checks in, we'll go to him.
Okay. All right. I did share, Dr. Thompson did provide me with a large amount of legislative information that he received, and it included a spreadsheet with all of our representatives and which counties they represent. Also supporting documents, kind of talking points that you can share with your members and your community regarding our legislatures. Is, again, of course, early voting has begun already. Started Tuesday, will continue through October 30th, and then voting day, of course, is November 3rd. We shared that with the local presidents and also their legislative chairs, so I encourage you to share that information, read over it. Like I say, it's a vast amount of information. Again, Dr. Thompson continues to provide us with vast amount of information and keeps us informed. And as he has said, at this point, it's uncertain what will be actually allowed to occur once the legislative session starts, which is January the 12th. Currently, they have, this year, we will have the day at the Capitol is currently scheduled for April 7th. We'll not know at this point if that'll actually occur. They'll keep us posted, but right now, if you need to mark that, is April 7th is day at the Capitol. We'll keep you informed and updated regarding that. You know, normally that would be the day that we would wear our red and sit in the gallery and listen to our legislatures, and they would listen to us. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll keep you posted if that day is actually going to be to occur at this point. But like I say, we'll kind of watch for any of the legislatures that may join us this morning. I know several, and I've had the opportunity to sit on some of your meetings, and you've had legislature representatives as part of your program, and the opportunity to share with them. So I encourage you with that also. And I do believe, let me check, Dr. Thompson, it does look like that we have been joined here with Representative or Senator Hughes. If you would like to address the audience, we do appreciate you with us this morning.
Senator Hughes. Is he ready?
Yeah, let's see. I see you just joined us this morning. If Senator Brian Hughes, if you're available, go ahead and address our audience. We do appreciate you this morning.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. Hopefully we'll be together in person before long. And we're thankful for the technology to get to do this for now. And so anyway, my goodness, we think about what we're going through, all of us. There may be things that have had a more profound effect on the country and the world, but to have this big an effect and this quickly, I don't think there's anything in history that we can look back to, and especially as bad as a lot of folks thought it was going to be when it first came along. But we know it's serious. We know folks are affected, but we're blessed to be where we live, where folks are dealing with it and moving on. And anyway, so y'all know what's going on with that. So it's good to get to connect like this, and you stay on top of things. Y'all know the issues well. Of course, our public schools have been affected as much as or more than any other group or institution. Y'all seen how they've responded. It hasn't surprised you in that first semester when it hit and all the adjustments to be made, and then trying to start another one and doing whatever it took to help those kids. And most of us, it looks like, are back to in person. And I know I've been talking to teachers and superintendents, and many of our schools that were offering in person and online are strongly encouraging or moving back to in person. I think we're thankful for the technology, but I think we all realize that those students in the classroom with those teachers is the best place for them to be learning. So we're thankful to see that happening. And y'all know what's been going on. Last session, a long overdue investment was made. That TRS trust fund was 87 years from actuarially sound, but the legislature made an investment, and it was your money. It wasn't our money. It was taxpayer money. Made an investment to keep promises, and so to bring us actuarially sound. And of course, that 13th check, not enough and long overdue, but it was something. And also, as you know, for over a decade, we had not seen any increase in the healthcare premium or the deductible. But then, that caught up to us. And so I know y'all had to deal with that. So seeing those premiums go up. And so last session, another investment was made to keep those stable, and plan to keep doing that. So we're thankful. The economy, that stock market does what it does, and it affects that TRS fund. You have some great managers working for you down there, and they beat the market consistently. But early this year, they were affected in the spring like everybody else was by the pandemic. You've probably seen the numbers. They're back up. They're doing well. The fund will be profitable this year. It won't hit the target it would have, but it's still good. It's still going to be on track. And so we're thankful for that. As far as the session goes, I know y'all been talking about this. Yeah, meetings are going on just about every day with representatives and senators, and just trying to get a feel for how it's going to be. We hope, I'm sure we all hope, that by January, this thing will be, if not behind us, I'm talking about the pandemic, if not behind us, at least it'll be look a whole lot better. We don't know. And so, Dr. Thompson, you're correct. We are going to hear from people back home that we work for, one way or the other. We've heard from a number of large groups that they are choosing to make alternate plans, or they're, putting it on hold. But we just don't know yet. So you're certainly wise to save that date and plan on connecting. Those decisions are being made as we get closer to the legislative session. But it's my opinion that there will be public access. We don't know what it's going to look like. There may be longer lines to get in. We don't know what procedures will be in place. But I can guarantee you this. We'll always be able to connect by phone, by email, by text, like this, by social media, and we can also connect in person. And if there are problems meeting at the Capitol, then I'll be meeting with groups off campus, away from the Capitol. Of course, the problem with that is we have to deal with the city of Austin, and they're pretty limiting on what they're letting people do. So you said it very well. That advocacy day is going to take place. We're going to hear from you, but nobody knows yet exactly what it's going to look like. But I've said to you guys before, your voice is heard in the legislature, first of all, because it's the right thing to do, and a commitment was made, and y'all have certainly done more than your part in the way you've served. And so you're not going to be left out, but also the fact that you are active and that you engage like this, it matters. It makes a difference. I know this is just part of the ways that you serve. I know what y'all did in your careers, and I know you're involved in the communities back home now, but right now, that's how things look. We don't know what the money's going to look like, but the big investment that was made in public education last session with House Bill 3, you'll recall that a lot of money was put in for equity to help those children that need it the most. Also, a long overdue raise for our teachers, and also some property tax relief. And that money, nobody's talking about cutting that. We're looking at areas in the budget outside of education, but for education, for transportation, for public safety, those core responsibilities, those core constitutional responsibilities, no one's talking about messing with that. And so we'll be working pretty hard on that. So, of course, I want to hear from you guys about TRS matters and public ed matters and anything else. You're the boss. We work for you. And so thank y'all for letting me be with you this morning. And again, Lord willing, we'll be together in person before long.
Okay, well,
Thank you, Senator Hughes. We certainly appreciate it. Dr. Thompson?
Yeah, thank you, Senator Hughes.
Thank you,
We'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
I know where you are.
That's right. Just down the road. That's right.
So anyway, if you need me, holler. You know how to get a hold of me too.
I'll be bugging you, and I'll probably call your wife before I call you. But I appreciate you both. Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
she's here.
Thank y'all.
Take care, and we're glad that you're with us today.
Thank you for having me.
See ya.
All right.
Thank you, Julie.
All right, thank you. And if we have any others join shortly, we'll certainly give them the opportunity. I do want to ask George, is Jay Dean going to be at one of your upcoming meetings?
Jay was at our September meeting.
Okay, okay. Just does anyone else have a representative that will be attending any of their future meetings? What's the opportunity that can occur? If you're willing to share that with other local units, we can certainly sit in on those, and that's again another opportunity for us to hear from our representatives in that manner also. So if you're having one at your program, certainly share that. And I know many have done that. I had the opportunity to sit in with Oil Patch, and they had Tim earlier. Western Bowie County has him scheduled October 26th. And again, just the opportunity to sit in and hear others. This is a great opportunity. We don't have to travel, but we can sit in our home and listen and get complete updates constantly. So be willing, if you are doing Zoom meetings and you're willing to share that with our other local units, please do so that they can hear from folks that are doing your presentation. Since we do have a time gap here, we're going to go ahead and move some items on our agenda. I'd like to ask Carolyn Lance. Carolyn serves as our member benefit chair, and I would like her to speak with us regarding our very much collaborative partner of AMBA, please.
Thank you, President Spears, for this wonderful opportunity to share something that's very important and very near and dear to my heart, and that is our member benefits. And the reason that it is so important is because it's one of the tools that we use to gain members. And that's our goal, is to gain members. We still want to reach that 100,000 members, and we're not there yet. So benefits help do that. I've had a lot of people contact me about the benefits that we have that are not educators. They hear about our benefits through relatives, and I can share that information with them, but of course they have to become a member. And so we end up with some associate members that are supporting our association through their dues and also enjoying the membership benefits. So this year we want to concentrate on recruiting new members, reclaiming members. We have members that have not rejoined, and to retain current members. If members have, and these are educators that have our benefits and they are not renewing their membership into TRTA, they are contacted about renewing their membership. I know a friend personally that happened to her, so I can testify to that. I want to remind you all that when you do your yearbooks, and some of you have already done yours, and hopefully that you have put the AMBA ad in your book, because you will be reimbursed for doing that. And I know I sent out information, and Jeannie Coffey sent out information about that earlier in the summer. So if you did not get it, or if you would like that again, just let me know and I'll be glad to send it. But they do reimburse you for putting an ad in your yearbook or on the outside cover. So that's very important to get that done. There are benefits available that are insurance, that require a licensed insurance agent to enroll a person. And then there are a lot of benefits that are discounts. even discounts to the Dallas Zoo. So if you want to take your grandchildren to the zoo, you can get a discount there. So check out those. And those benefits may be the very tool that you can use to gain a member that hasn't joined TRTA, and you've been talking to them about that. I'm available to do any kind of presentations at your meetings, whether it's Zoom or in person. So hopefully we can get back to those in-person meetings and enjoy the fellowship that we have had in the past. I want to close out with something that I found out that some of you may be interested in. I figured out why I'm getting fat. I should have figured it out a lot sooner. It's the shampoo that I use in the shower. And when I wash my hair, the shampoo runs down my whole entire body. Printed very clearly on the shampoo label, it reads, for extra volume and body. Well, I've gotten rid of that shampoo, and I'm going to start using Dawn dish soap. On the label, it reads, dissolves fat that is otherwise difficult to remove. Problem solved. Have a fabulous day. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you for those kind words of wisdom there, certainly. I'd like to recognize Andy Kirby. Andy serves as our first vice president, and I know dealing with membership, if you would share anything. I know she's been in Zoom meetings along with, like I have, and some of our others regarding membership. Andy?
I can just reiterate what Carolyn just said. Keep on keeping on. Get those members who have not signed up. We're still wanting to reach that 100,000 members, and we're close, but we're still off. I have a Zoom meeting this afternoon with all the district first vice presidents, and I'm sure they'll share ideas on how to do that. Our unit has made personal calls. We've sent out brochures, and I encourage all of you to do that also. Just do anything you can. Bake cookies, whatever it takes to get these people to join again. Thank you for the opportunity, Julie.
Thank you, Andy. Another thing is, of course, TRTA sent to me the data analysis, which is kind of a trace over past years for each local unit. And that, again, that was sent to the presidents. And again, it's an opportunity for us to see where we stand with our membership. And again, it's just an opportunity to develop plans, to reach out, to keep current members and to seek future members in regards to that. So that data is there not to penalize us. Please don't take it for that in any way. It's just an opportunity for us to see where we stand and how we can show growth with that. And I believe, like I say, at one of the meetings I went to, Andy, and you'll probably find today, we're running a little over almost 79,000. So we're still short of our 100, but you know, they're working diligently and reaching out in all forms and fashions to seek out our members. And so we want to continue that. Again, we're a little bit still ahead of schedule. So we're going to go ahead and move into our memorial service portion of our agenda. And I would like to recognize Joan Cook, our immediate past president, that will handle the service, please.
Thank you, Julie. I want to share a poem called Every Candle Has a Name by John W. Story. We're like sailors in the night, being guided by a light. Just a beacon on the shore, giving hope and strength and more. Walking through this sea of light, I sense unity and might. The power of passion in this place. Every memory has a face. These are loved ones we have known, some still here, but some are gone. In this time, in our own way, as the footsteps melt away, we see love in every flame, like a never-ending chain. And we know that every candle has a name. There's a name of the ones who still are here. There's a name of those gone we still hold dear. There's a name, each one shining in the flames. And we know that every candle has a name. And now we will remember and honor our deceased members in District 8.
If we will now have a brief moment of silence. Thank you. We're getting a little ahead of schedule, so we're going to go ahead and move into the business portion of our meeting. So let's agenda-wise. All right. Ms. Ruby, if you will address the minutes that need to be presented and approved, please. And you all should have received copies of information for our business meeting. And if you do have any thing that you question or share, please, if you'll raise your hand or unmute and bring that to our attention, please.
We have two sets of minutes that need to be approved. One is for our executive board planning meeting, which was held August 20. And the other one is for our fall conference follow-up meeting, which was done on September 30. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes, please? May I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes as Ruby stated.
Okay, we have a motion from Sheila. Do I have a second, please?
I second.
Second the motion.
Okay. All right, I show intro, please. So we have a motion to accept the August 20th and the September 30th meetings as presented. If all in favor would raise your right hand, please. Any opposed? Show likewise. Okay, motion carried. Thank you, Ms. Ruby.
Thank you.
All right. Give me a moment and I want to, all right, you also received a copy of the budget that was prepared at the executive board meeting. Okay, let me get out of this. Let's see. You'll give me just a moment. I want to pull that up. Again, what occurs, and again, the executive board meets, we look at what occurred the prior year, we look at what our current standings are, and then we prepare a budget for our 2021. If you'll notice, as I'm pulling this up, you will see that there was, of course, we did not able to finish meeting in our spring meeting that we normally have. We were not able to have that meeting. And so the expenditures did not occur there. And some other expenditures that also, all right, let's see. I can pull this up now. All right, here we go. All right, so the budget, like I say, what you see is referred to as the actuals. This is what was expended through June 30th, and our fiscal year runs July 1. Of course, we had to make some adjustments because of the pandemic and closing out our year at this point. So what we have done is taken the actuals from last year and built a budget for this year. So you can see the expenditures that will be added. One, I'd like to acknowledge the executive board did approve Zoom subscriptions for all local units that wish to purchase those. And I believe, if I'm correct, Laura, we had 8 out of our 15 or 17 units purchase that.
Yes.
In order, thank you, in order to have their meetings. And so the board approved that, and I want to affirm them for that. Again, some of the expenditures, you'll see there's no line item because, again, it's canceled for the remainder, and we're doing the fall via Zoom. And the spring, we went ahead and have placed those items in our budget, although we do not know until we hear final word from state whether we'll actually be able to have that. And again, same thing. We're not sure how the day at the Capitol will actually roll out and get reimbursement for. But want to present the budget. Again, this was approved already by your executive board, and it's an information item to you. But I will be glad to acknowledge any questions that you may have regarding our budget at this time. All right, seeing none, okay. Our next item is the treasurer's report. Let's see if I can pull. Laura, give me just a moment and I'm going to pull up your treasurer's report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, there we are. Go ahead, Laura. Our treasurer will give us an update on our report.
Okay, thank you, Julie. You can see our expenditures from August 20th. And most of those were for the Zoom meeting. We had one prior to that, and that's not listed on there. And currently we have on hand $21,675.67.
Okay. We'll open the floor for any questions that may have regarding our current financial reports in regards to this. Anyone have any questions for Laura or myself? Okay. Seeing none, I would open the floor for a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented, please. All right, Sabrina, I have a motion. Do I hear a second, please?
Racine Mitchell, second.
All right, thank you, Racine. I have a motion by Sabrina Robertson and seconded by Racine Mitchell. All those in favor of accepting the financial report as presented, if you'll raise your right hand, please. Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. Motion passes. Is there any unfinished business that District 8 needs to address? If there is, if you would unmute and state, please, if there's any unfinished business.
Julie?
Yes. Who's that? If you'll say that again, please. Thought I heard somebody. Any unfinished business?
Julie, can you hear me?
Yes, Sabrina, go ahead, please. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say on the treasurer's report, not that it matters, but my name is misspelled. It's Rosson rather than Rasson.
Okay, thank you. Let's make that correction there, please, Laura. Thank you.
Yes, I will. Thank you. I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you. That's okay. Not a problem. It's been spelled various ways, so I totally understand.
All right, seeing, yes, Mary. You can unmute, please, ma'am. There you go. Yes, ma'am.
Just because we didn't get to end last year like we normally would, I'd just like to extend my thanks to our officers for last year and just say thank you.
I appreciate that. Yes, very much. Like you say, to end on the way we had to just abruptly stop everything and not have an actual end spring where we normally would have the opportunity to gather and recognize their service. I do appreciate that, Mary. Thank you for bringing that up. We do want to recognize the service that was provided by those officers in making the transition. And it was all done, via the virtual concept in reality. And again, we're traveling and boldly going where, TRTA District 8's never been before, and appreciate everyone's patience and attention as we move forward. Is there any new business that needs to be brought before District 8? Any new business? Okay. All right, seeing none, no new business. Committee reports. Normally at this time, we would ask each of our chairs to come forward and give you some update on their particular area. What we have done this year, again, to respect time, we've placed that in our brochure. So please make sure you take a look at your brochure information. Please share that with your local chair and also with your members in regards to that. The community service, of course, that's going to be a challenge for this year. Any area that you can continue to document your community hours. And I will share with you, I have learned from the state level that there's ways to do virtual Of course, TRTA is doing a TRTA virtual tutoring opportunity that we'll share with you also. So there's still ways to provide volunteer services, even though that we're not able to get out and about. Our foundation, of course, that's November will be foundation month. Normally we would be in meetings and able to collect money to support that. And then so again, we'll have to think a little bit outside the box on that. To be able to gather contributions that we can continue to support our foundation. Healthy living, anything that, of course, right now, all the things you read about in order to not get your level of stress up, and I don't know how many of you are involved, but a new diagnosis that has occurred is Zoom fatigue. So I'm sure that will be covered under our healthcare before long. So be prepared for that. But anything that you can do with the opportunity to get out and walk around in your house, in your yard, in your neighborhood, and keep your mind stress-free as much as possible. Call a friend and move forward. Protective information services, again, please be constantly aware of scams that occur, phone calls you get. Check on, elderly friends and relatives and keep an eye on that. As far as scams that may be occurring with that. Of course, our local unit, Ms. Racine, a past president with very much experience, has reached out already and has provided some information here of how to encourage your local units. And please don't hesitate to call on her and utilize her vast knowledge and experience that she brings to our district in sharing that. And of course, Carolyn covered our membership our member benefits, and so please make sure you see those. There's a lot of hidden treasures there if you'll take advantage of those in regards to that. But again, I appreciate all of our committee chairs and the service that they provide and the information that they share. And again, what occurs is the state level chair will pass that down to the district level, and the district in turn passes it to your local. So we want to make sure we continue to share this information that we receive moving forward.
Julie?
Yes, Carolyn, go ahead.
Carolyn Lance here.
Yes,
in regard to the foundation and contributions to that, normally at our fall meeting, we collect from those who are attending a contribution to the foundation in honor of our speakers. And I just wonder if maybe today those who are in attendance would pledge a certain amount and send it to Laura for us to send to the foundation. Just a suggestion.
Okay, that is correct, Carolyn. Thank you for bringing it up. Normally we would be collecting funds and in turn have that sent in on behalf of the TRTA officer that we will hear from shortly here in her honor. So that would be something that if your local unit would if any of us present today would like to make a donation, if you would send that to Laura, you can email it mail that to her. I'll provide you with her, and I think you have it in your information. You could mail a check from her also. One thing we could do, I'll just offer this and we can discuss it also, is we as a district could, from our budget, offer a portion of donation. And so I could break that up for discussion if we'd like to just, from the district funding budgets, we could offer a donation to the foundation on behalf of our TRTA officer with us today. And I'll open that up on the floor for discussion.
Julie, this is Joan.
Yes, ma'am.
In the spring, that's exactly what we decided to do. We made that $500 donation because we had not spent money for spring leadership like we normally do. And then we also went ahead and gave the $100 to each local unit, even though they weren't able to travel to state or any of that sort of thing. So, I mean, we obviously have the money because we're not spending any in this fall session. So
okay,
I would be in favor of just making a donation from our treasury.
All right. Do you have an amount that you would like to suggest, Joan, that we could put into a motion?
Well, we always got, at least $300 or so.
Okay.
If you think 500 is 500 too much, I don't know. Get some other ideas.
Okay. Anyone else from the floor? Anyone have a?
Yes, this is Renee
Yes,
from
Renee.
WellPatch, and I had thought about this too and wondered if maybe usually when we collect, I think from local members who attend, we get about between $250 and $300. So since we gave 500 last year, I was thinking if we did 250 in the fall, and then the spring we can do more, depending on if we're virtual or not, or we could even do 300. 250 to 300 would be my recommendation.
All right. Thank you, Renee. And Renee does serve as our foundation chair. I appreciate that. So let's take that as a motion that District 8, from our budget, we will make a donation to the foundation for $250 in honor of our TRTA officer that is present with us today. And again, I will shortly introduce her. We will do it in her honor. Do I have
I'll second that,
second?
Judy.
All right. Sheila Daughtry seconds. Thank you, Sheila. All those in favor, if you'll raise your right hand, please. Any opposed? Thank you. I appreciate that very much. There we are. All right. We have just a short 10 minutes till we kind of get on the agenda of where we have our TRTA officer present, and then we'll have our TRS update. So let's just take a short break, and we'll come right back in about 5 minutes. All right, we'll kind of get back, and we've got a couple more items on our agenda, and we'll move forward with that. It is with great honor today that we share time with Ella Gaucher. She's our TRTA Second Vice President, Public Relations, and we thank Ella for being with us today, and we would like to hear from you today. Thank you very much, Ella.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here virtually with you all. 2 years ago, I was there in person at the service center that I kept questioning, is this a service center? It is gorgeous. I had never been in a service center that pretty before, just gorgeous. I enjoyed being there. Leroy DeHaven, our TRTA president and conductor of the TRTA Express, wanted me to say to all of you, all aboard the TRTA Express. Since March, we have been aboard an express train to surprise destinations. They've been uncharted because we really didn't know where we were headed. All we knew is that we were on this fast-moving train. An important stop along the way, however, was to learn how to use technology, mainly Zoom, to take care of the business of TRTA and to keep us all connected. Don't know what we would have done if it had not been for technology. However, if you were like me, you were on a learning curve and looked like it was very steep. The current TRTA officers who stepped up or were chosen by poll because we were not able to have a face-to-face convention are Leroy DeHaven, president and conductor of the Express; Marcy Cann, first vice president and membership chair; Ella Gaucher, me, second vice president and chair of the Public Relations Committee; Franna Patterson, secretary treasurer and chair of the Finance Committee; and Patricia Macias, immediate past president. COVID-19 has resulted in thinking outside the box to carry on the business of TRTA. TRTA staffs are mainly working from home, but it has not affected their ability to carry on the business of TRTA and to offer support and help when needed by our members. If you need them, call or email. They're there to support you. TRTA decided that we really needed to sort of streamline what our plans were and what our goals were. Because sometimes you have all these little goals, but you could categorize them into smaller topics. And so we have 4 major goals. And from these 4 major goals, we have strategic planning teams. There are 5. The first is the 100,000 K team. This is the team that is encouraging our membership growth. As Marcy would say, M&Ms, membership and more. We have a local unit empowerment strategic planning team. TRTA and all of its members knows that the local units are the heart of TRTA. And unless we can support you in the local unit and help you with your local units, we won't grow. So this is what that team is designed to do. The next is the activities. You know, one of the things we found out as we talked with TRTA members is that we like to have a good time. We enjoy socializing. We enjoy being together. This activities team has been tasked with providing activities that we can enjoy when we can get together and offering suggestions to you for things that can be done as we meet virtually. We are all looking forward to being together at hopefully Day at the Capitol and in 2021, a wonderful, wonderful convention since we did not see each other in 2021 would be the Day at the Capitol. 2022 is when hopefully we will get together at a state convention since we missed our state convention this year. Technology. boy, have we had to change the way we were looking at technology. This team is working to improve technology so that we can be more effective in communicating with our members. The technology team is looking carefully at all aspects of technology and how best to support local units as they work to stay connected with its members. We have said technology is from A to Z, from the new app to Zoom and anything in between. Our district president council officers. This team is designed to give districts more input into TRTA planning. You know, quite often plans are made, then we share. What we're trying to do now is listen to what the districts are having to say and incorporate that information as plans are being made. It is very, very important that we remember the district officers speak for the local unit people. That's our connection. And for us to continue to grow, we have to keep that connection open. The next thing I want to talk about is the Children's Book Project. Hopefully you are continuing with this project. As you continue with it, do make sure that you have talked with the recipients of the books, because some of them are wanting the books, but they want it handled a different way. We cannot do, in some instances, what we did last year because the comfort level isn't there. However, because it is important that children receive books, the recipients want them. Just talk with them and see how best we can do this. And when you do that, say, I really would like to take a picture. Is there any way that we can have a picture of the books and you that I am going to hand them to so that we can publicize it? It is important that we publicize whatever we do, however we can. I know you know this because it's been in the voice, but I think it's important to say the 2020 recipient of the E.L. Gallion Award is Bill Barnes. If your district is going to nominate someone for the E.L. Gallion Award, the deadline is November 1st, 2020. Since this is a state award, emphasis will be placed on state level contributions. A copy of the dated district minutes with the motion to nominate must be included with the application. If you want to nominate someone and you had not finished the process, remember with Zoom, you can call a meeting, get your minutes together, get the applications together, and get that into state. The application can be downloaded from the TRTA website. And rather than trying to put it in the mail, the snail mail, you can easily email that. And on the application, it tells you who to email it to. So please, if there's anyone you want to nominate, it is not too late to do the process. Resource guides and training materials are available online. And I know that all of you know this, so I'm not going to really go into that a lot. If you'll notice, I'm reading my notes because I can be very, very lengthy, and I wanted to respect your time and not overly talk. Leroy chose a TRTA Express, as I said earlier, as the foundation of his theme for his biennia. When we think about it, life is like a journey on a train with its stations, changes of routes, and of course, accidents. As we journey on this train, it is important that we live in the best way possible. Love, forgive, and offer the best of who we are. It is important to do this because when the time comes and we step down, leaving our seat empty, we should leave behind beautiful memories for those who will continue to travel on the train of life without us. I wish you a joyful journey on your train of life. I want you to reap success, give lots of love especially if you have grandkids. Love them to death, spoil them to death, send them home to mom and dad to handle. Most importantly, be thankful for the journey. I thank each of you for being one of the passengers on the train, the TRTA train, as we continue to make the important mission of TRTA. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I thank each of you for being one of the passengers on the TRTA train as we continue the important mission of TRTA for our retired educators. Remember, whatever we're doing now will benefit those who are still active and those who are making a difference in the lives of our children. We encourage you to strengthen and grow TRTA by being more visible to active educators and the public by publicizing your activities and the values of a TRTA membership. Thank you, Carol Lawrence, for what you said. Leroy says, the TRTA Express is zooming around the state as we reach for the stars and beyond. Get on board and let us help and encourage each other during these unusual times. Take a minute, call someone you have not spoken to in a while, just to say, hello, I'm checking on you. Or take a minute, send a little greeting card to someone you have not heard from in a while to say, I'm thinking of you. In closing, I quote from Abraham Lincoln, the best thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. As we travel on the TRTA Express, remember that each day brings something new and different. As retirees, it is important that we see these things as an opportunity to continue to learn. Enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ella. Appreciate it so much for you spending your time with us today. And I want to reiterate, as Ella has stated, all of the officers, I've had the opportunity to be in several meetings with them. And again, they are there for us. They understand and value, as TRTA Executive Board has said, local units are our bloodline to TRTA. So you are valued. They want to hear from you and they want to be able to support you. So do not ever hesitate to contact any of them. They're very helpful folks, and we appreciate your service to us from your level, Ella. Thank you very much. And you probably heard earlier, Ella's been with us throughout the meeting, I believe. Yes. But District 8 will be making a donation in your honor to the foundation. And again, we appreciate you and thank you for your service and your time with us today.
Thank you, because the foundation, I think, is at the heart of what we do.
Yes, it is. Thank you. All right, the TRS update. Every year at the conference, we receive an informative and valued update from our TRS regarding our investment. You should have received a copy of the presentation to give you an opportunity to view ahead of time. Upon the completion of the presentation, we will have some allotted time to allow you to ask some questions. And if you don't, later on, if you think of a question, certainly send it to me and we'll certainly forward that and get those answered. But please let me introduce, this is Addison Reagan, Assistant Director of Governmental Relations with TRS, and Addison, we'll turn it over to you and let you introduce any guests you have and give us a TRS update, please.
All right, fantastic. Thank you all so much for having me. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you all can see the presentation. Let me get this all pulled up here. Julie, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
yeah,
we're good.
All right, fantastic. So you should be able to see the first slide. It should take up your whole screen. So hello, everyone. I am Addison Reagan. As Julie mentioned, I'm the Assistant Director of Governmental Relations, and I work with Marita Zoga, who's the Director of Governmental Relations at TRS. Some of y'all may know her from past TRTA presentations. Last September, I was recruited from the Capitol because of my legislative background, having worked for 2 different senators, where I would condense information and present it to the senator and to other legislative staff. I'm looking forward to doing the same for you all today. However, I am prohibited from lobbying, so I'm just here to share with you all what has been happening at TRS. Just so that everyone can hear, it would be best if everyone remains muted during the presentation and submits questions via the chat function. I will answer your questions at the end. And like Julie said, if there are any questions that we don't get to, or if you think of them later, she'll get that to me and I'll forward it on to our experts at TRS to get you an answer. So this is my first time presenting to District 8. So again, thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to get started. We have 4 important topics to discuss with you today. The first item on the agenda is an overview of TRS and COVID-19. Then we have a special guest from executive leadership at the Investment Management Division, Dale West, who is the Senior Managing Director of Public Markets at the Investment Management Division. And he will review your pension trust fund and speak to the importance of diversification. After that, I'll discuss some of the upcoming changes to the TRS care plans, but know that your premiums and plan designs are not changing. I'll conclude the presentation with an update on long-term estate planning. Let's talk about TRS and COVID-19. In the midst of the pandemic, we know that our retirees have questions about the impact of COVID-19. Specifically, they wonder what is happening with the market fluctuations, and are their annuities going to change? The good news is that your annuities are not at risk. Your payments will not stop, will not change, and will not be delayed. This is one of the benefits of having a defined benefit plan that is professionally managed by an investment team. You can see on the slide that investment returns make up over 62% of pension fund revenue. Last year, we paid out $11.4 billion in annuity payments to 434,000 members, payments that we can and will continue to make regardless of what happens in the markets. This is possible because TRS is liquid, large, and most certainly long-term. TRS is the 6th largest fund in the US, and we are consistently ranked among the top 25 largest pension funds in the world. Your world-class team at TRS helps make up what the pension trust fund pays out to keep the pension fund solvent for generations to come. To accomplish this, the Investment Management Division created a complex diversification plan on your behalf. Today, like I mentioned, we have a member from executive leadership at the Investment Management Division to give a status update on the TRS Pension Trust Fund and a look into how the IMD operates. I am excited to introduce Dale West, who is the Senior Managing Director of Public Markets. He earned his MBA from Stanford, but was first a UT grad. I'll now kick it over to you, Dale.
Thanks, Essen, and thank you, District 8, for having us with you this morning. We really appreciate the opportunity. Before I was a Longhorn down here in Austin, I spent 12 years in Texas schools up in the Panhandle. So proud product of Texas schools. I wish we could be up in Northeast Texas with you today, and maybe we can look forward to that next year. I'm one of about 190 professionals on the TRS investment team that is dedicated to keeping the retirement promise that the state of Texas has made to you. And our mission is to invest the trust fund to achieve the highest possible return we can, consistent with a prudent and diversified portfolio. Now, the slide you're seeing now shows the power of that diversification and how it's played out so far in 2020. We began the fiscal year last August 2019 at just over $157 billion. Now, as the extent of damage from COVID-19 became clearer, we had one of the fastest stock market crashes ever on record. And at the bottom, stock markets around the world had fallen more than 30%. But because the TRS Trust is diversified, our portfolio was down less than the stock market. From the peak in February to the bottom in March, we were down a little more than 13%. But more importantly, your portfolio has recovered with the market's recovery. As of June 30th, you can see on the slide, we were just behind where we started the school year. And as of today, we've completely made up the losses from this spring, and we're at a value of just over $160 billion. And that's after we've paid out benefits all along the way. Now, you may have heard some talk about the investment fees that TRS pays, that somehow TRS is wasting money that could be used to pay benefits. That would make me angry if I were in your seat and hearing that. And it does make me angry because I know that we take our responsibility to be good stewards very seriously. And this next slide helps illustrate why we pay investment fees. It's an actual example of a private equity fund from the TRS portfolio. Now first, what's private equity? Private equity managers buy companies that aren't traded on the stock market. They usually buy the whole company and then fix it up or grow it and sell it on. And a private equity fund is just a collection of those investments over a period of about 10 years by a single manager. Now the fund in this example gave you on average a 13% return each year over the 10-year period. That's the green bar on the right-hand side of this chart. You can see on the left-hand side of the slide that the manager's investments generated an average return of about 15.3% per year. And out of that, the manager charged TRS about 0.5% in management fees and a little under 2% as a performance fee out of the profits. Altogether, that's a 2.3% annualized fee. Now, 2.3% is certainly high compared to what an investor would pay on a plain vanilla mutual fund in a 401k, for instance. But the key number here is what you kept. That 13% return after fees compares to our overall pension fund return of about 9% over the last 10 years. So we did pay higher fees, but only to benefit the bottom line of the fund. Like the old saying, you get what you pay for. Eliminate the high fees on this investment, and you also eliminate the higher returns. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that we just accept Wall Street fees without a fight. And working to reduce fees is one of the best ways we can add value as an investment team. When we choose investments like stocks, they might go up or down, but when we negotiate fee savings, that all drops down to the bottom line. And we have two main lines of attack. Using the flexibility we got from the legislature in 2019, we're working hard to bring investing in-house when we think we can do it as well as the external managers. And we've saved over $100 million in fees through those efforts, over and above the cost of the extra people we've hired. Another key way we save fees is by negotiating hard. We use our size and get volume discounts, and we work through industry organizations to come up with fairer ways to compensate our investment managers. We're working actively to reduce the fee bill at the trust level. Having said all that, our ability to pay fees when we need to and use complex investments directly benefits you. This next slide shows some figures from the board's investment consultant, Aon, that compare TRS to a typical public pension plan. Aon reported that as of last September, TRS had done better than 90% of public pension plans over a 10-year period, with a return of 8.8% annualized compared to our median peer at 8.2%. Now, I recognize the first instinct when you see numbers like 8.8 and 8.2% is to think it doesn't look like much of a difference. But that leaves out a couple of things. One is how big TRS is, and second is the power of compound interest over 10 years. 10 years ago, TRS was about $91 billion in size. And when you start off that big, the difference over 10 years between earning 8.8% and 8.2% compounds to about $11 billion. That's $11 billion extra on the bottom line after paying all the fees and all the costs of the investment management division. Having a professional team that's outperforming the peers is an important part of keeping that retirement promise to you. Addison's about to tell you some of the great things the legislature did in 2019 to strengthen the pension fund, which we're grateful for, and which added over $1 billion in additional funding to the trust. And I sure don't need to tell this group how hard you worked to get that success at the legislature. But I do know we wouldn't want to be in a situation where the problem was $11 billion bigger. And that's why we occasionally pay for complex alternative investments, because at the end of the day, we believe that will continue to deliver better results. If you'll bear with me, I want to go just a bit deeper into this idea of diversification. Diversification means that we hold different kinds of assets or investments in markets across the world, and that positions us for the long term because we don't know the future for any one particular asset or country. And it's what makes the portfolio resilient during times of volatility like we had earlier this spring. Diversification is a key part of being a prudent fiduciary, and that's something we and the TRS Board of Trustees take very seriously. Now, this next slide is a little bit ugly, but it's one of my favorites because I'm an investment guy and I like to get into the numbers. And I think it helps illustrate why we don't put all our eggs in any one basket, and instead we have a diversified portfolio. Each of these boxes is a particular kind of investment and how it performed in a given calendar year. As an example, you can take a look at that purple box, which is long-term US Treasuries, a key part of our portfolio. You can see that in years like 2011 and 2014, you were really glad to have Treasury bonds in your portfolio because they were at the top of the heap. But then take a look at 2013 and 2016. In those years, Treasuries were among the worst investments. And in fact, in 2013, you lost quite a bit of money just investing in Treasuries. Now, while we're on this slide, let me also point you to the green boxes, which are so-called alternative investments. Those are things like private market investments and hedge funds, more complicated investment strategies that generally aren't available to individual investors, but which are an important part of the TRS portfolio. They are some of the investments where we pay higher fees, but you can also see that there are a lot of green boxes in the top half of this slide. That is, they're some of our highest returners. So thank you for being patient with me as I go through some of the facts and figures of our investment program. It's something that I care a lot about, and it's something that we want to be more transparent with you about. What I'll leave you with is that you have a professional team working hard to generate the highest returns from a diversified portfolio and working to do it in a cost-effective way where we're only spending fee dollars when we think it will benefit the bottom line. That's the approach that's made us one of the top performing pension plans in the United States. And that's something that we're proud of because we know who it's for. Thank you, and back to you, Addison.
Thanks, Dale. So now let's talk about what the legislature did for y'all last session. The legislature passed Senate Bill 12 that gradually increases contributions to your TRS pension trust fund to make it actuarially sound. You can see on the slide that by fiscal year 2025, that's September 1, calendar year 2024, the state will be at a contribution rate of 8.25%. We haven't seen contribution rates that high since the 1980s. As you know, state law prohibits the legislature from considering a benefit enhancement, like a cost of living adjustment or a 13th check, unless the fund is actuarially sound. State law defines that as having a funding period of less than 31 years. As a result of the implementation of SB 12 last year, our unfunded liability decreased from a funding period of 87 years to 29 years. Because the fund was made actuarially sound, the legislature granted eligible members that retired before December 31st, 2018, a matching annuity check capped at $2,000. August 31st of this year is when our actuarial valuation began. In December, it will be presented to the Board of Trustees. We are now moving on to discuss the TRS care plans. First and foremost, your premiums and plan designs are not changing as we start a new plan year on January 1st, 2021. This past February, our Board of Trustees voted on one of the largest healthcare procurements in TRS's history. This decision puts all of the TRS healthcare funds in a better position. TRS Care will not have a shortfall in the 2022-2023 fiscal biennium. As I mentioned, the TRS Board awarded new contracts for TRS Care. TRS strives to maximize the value of every healthcare dollar, and this includes competitively bidding our contracts to ensure you and your family receive the highest value health benefits. TRS Care Standard, the plan for retirees under 65 who are not Medicare eligible, will switch from Aetna to Blue Cross Blue Shield on January 1st, 2021, and CVS will continue as your pharmacy benefit manager. TRS Care Medicare Advantage, the plan for retirees over 65 who are Medicare eligible, will switch from Humana to United Healthcare on January 1st, 2021, and SilverScript will continue as your pharmacy benefit manager. The TRS Care Medicare Advantage plan will continue the same in and out of network benefits, and the provider must still agree to bill United. You can call Blue Cross Blue Shield or United Healthcare now with questions, and you'll receive your new ID cards in December. We are also happy to announce another change for 2021 related to deductibles. We recognize that participants under 65 may have paid a considerable amount toward their deductible in the TRS Care Standard plan before turning 65. We've worked with United Healthcare to ensure that any current TRS Care Standard participant who turns 65 during the calendar year and joins the TRS Care Medicare Advantage plan will not have to meet a deductible for the rest of the year. This starts in 2021. We worked with United Healthcare on a provider outreach strategy because we know how important your relationship with your doctor is, and we want to ensure that participants have a smooth transition to United Healthcare. Like we've done in the past, we created a flyer that participants can give to their doctor to help our members to maximize their benefit. The flyer gives your doctor more information on how to work directly with United Healthcare, so it takes the patient out of the middle and provides an extra level of support to your doctor. We mailed that flyer out to you in September, and it is also on our website. We are working with United Healthcare as they are contacting providers that our members see today who are not in the network. United Healthcare will inform them how the plan works and assure them that they can be reimbursed for treating TRS participants. United Healthcare is also contacting current in-network providers to inform them that TRS Care Medicare Advantage is changing insurers to United Healthcare and that their patients will be getting new ID cards. This illustration shows that the TRS Care Medicare Advantage plan benefits often exceed benefits available on the individual market. We know that many people are approached by agents selling individual plans during Medicare's open enrollment period from October through December, or when our members turn 65. While TRS Care premiums may be higher than some plans on the individual market, the benefits in the TRS plans are likely to be considerably richer. If you'll look at the first column on the slide, TRS Care participants enjoy predictable copays, even if they have high drug costs, including specialty drugs. In many private plans, you pay 25% of the drug's total cost in the coverage gap phase. TRS participants do not experience the coverage gap, or donut hole, as it's commonly called. As depicted by the second column, our participants also enjoy a single copay for inpatient hospital stays, as opposed to a copay per day. In addition, TRS Care Medicare Advantage offers nutritious meals delivered to your doorstep after an inpatient stay. The third column explains that as a PPO plan, TRS Care Medicare Advantage has a large nationwide network, so you can see any provider that accepts Medicare and is willing to bill United. Many of the individual market Medicare Advantage plans are HMO plans with smaller networks and no out-of-network benefit. We know that many of you are not only worried about COVID-19, but how you might have to pay for testing or treatment. TRS is currently covering COVID-19 related diagnostic testing and inpatient treatment related to COVID-19 and all telemedicine visits at 100% for both TRS Care Standard and Medicare Advantage. These benefits have been shared with members through our email newsletter, The Pulse, and on the TRS homepage. These benefits are currently effective through all of 2020. TRS is closely monitoring the impact of COVID-19 on the long-term financial position of the health plan funds. TRS's goal is to balance providing coverage that brings its participants peace of mind during this unpredictable time with the financial sustainability of the funds. Due to COVID-19, TRS is conducting virtual presentations to maintain the well-being and safety of our participants and employees. As in prior years, there will still be plenty of time for question and answer sessions after each presentation so that your specific questions can be answered. There will also be a recorded session available on our website after all sessions are complete. Each session can accommodate up to 500 people, and we are currently planning on having 30 different sessions. Some of the sessions are already filling up, so we'll add additional sessions if demand asks for it. We mailed webinar invitations to retirees in 2 waves, in late August and early September, with instructions on how to register for a session. We have links to RSVP for information sessions on our website. In our past information sessions, we've learned that those who are turning 65 in the coming years are more interested in Medicare Advantage presentations, and some have come to our meetings expecting to know more about enrollment. In response, we've created a Turning 65 meeting embedded within the information session. Here's a list of dates and times for the information sessions. This information is also on our website, and we hope that one of these will work for you. Let's move on to our last topic of long-term facilities planning. TRS membership continues to grow. Our total TRS membership is over 1.6 million, and we expect to reach 2 million in the next few years. Additional staff is necessary to provide our members the level of service they expect and to prudently invest your funds. As our TRS membership grows, our facility needs also continue to grow. TRS opened its doors 83 years ago, and since then we've operated in 7 different facilities. We outgrew our current space for the first time over a decade ago and had to move our investment team out of the headquarters and into lease space in a nearby office building. That lease ends in 2021, and TRS's executive director's long-term vision for TRS is to be in buildings we own by 2025. And while we're currently in the middle of a pandemic and don't know what the near-term future holds, what we do know is that we need adequate space to serve our members and to invest your funds. We will continue to conduct thorough due diligence on a generational solution for TRS facilities to continue to provide our members a secure retirement. As part of our long-term facilities planning, we are also looking at opening regional offices to best serve our members and to reach them closer to where they live. In January of this year, we surveyed our active and retired members to better understand their preferences, and an overwhelming majority voted in favor of counseling offices in key strategic locations across Texas. The map of Texas indicates areas where the highest number of members are eligible to retire through 2024. We are initially targeting El Paso because of its distance from our current office in Austin, relatively low cost, and opportunities to partner with existing state properties. This will be part of our discussions in the 2021 legislative session. This last slide provides contact information for the different areas in which TRS can be of assistance. I will go ahead and stop screen sharing now. And we will start our Q&A portion of the presentation.
Now, if anyone has any questions for Addison or Dale, I know there was one question sent to me and I forwarded on that to Dale. But if you'll put that in the chat, they can see that and they'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Sure, I'll take that first question, which is whether I would make a prediction about when the fund will be actuarially sound and capable of supporting a COLA. And let me just say, I won't make that prediction because anybody who tries to make a short-term prediction about where the stock market is going tends to be made a monkey of. So I'm not going to do that. You know, our investing plan is built for the long term. And if I can give an analogy, I know that the weather in 2 months is probably going to be colder than it is today, but if you ask me what the weather is next Wednesday, I don't have any idea. The one thing I'll say is that during legislative years, there is an interim actuarial evaluation done. So depending on the short-term fluctuations in the market, we'll have those answers sometime next spring during the legislative session.
Thank you, Dale. Any other questions? Like I say, if you later, as you review the documentation and the information that's been shared, you have a question, you can certainly send it to me. I'll forward that on and we'll get those answered for you. We want to make sure that we stay informed. And as in the presentation, mentioned the webinars, myself and my husband have participated, in which I think some of you have already. Very good informative information. And that's very important as members. We need to make sure we get that communicated out to all our members because it is a change and we know sometimes change is not easy and we want to make sure they're well informed. Again, any more questions for Addison or Dale? We want to respect their time and appreciate it very much. Any questions at this point regarding the TRS update? All right, I've got a question. My husband is turning 65 within the calendar year of 2021. Will we get information from TRS regarding this?
Yes, work? Sure. So so there are a few things there. There's plenty of information on our website, depending on what your specific questions are. And then like Julie mentioned, definitely sign up for those information sessions that we have they started last week, I believe, maybe the week prior. And there's still plenty of sessions. There are Saturday sessions as well. So any specific questions that you have can be answered there. Just will you be sent information just kind of generally if he is a TRS member, I don't know if it's yourself or your husband or both. I know that we send out a packet 3 months before turning 65, just outlining what your health benefits will be. And I know that United will also be doing the same. So you should be getting information from both of us.
Okay, thank you. Is it true that the legislative will have to approve the TRS remote site options? Does that make sense? Is it true that the legislative will have to approve the TRS remote site options? And I guess they're talking about the ones that you identified throughout the state. Will that have to be approved through the legislative?
They technically do not have to be approved through the legislature. However, we like to receive their input, and so this is something that we will bring to the legislature just so that they are fully informed of what it is that we're wanting to do with the pilot office and in El Paso. So that's something that we would start with, and if we get the legislature's blessing, essentially, that's something that we will move forward with. But officially, no, it doesn't have to be approved, but we just like to maintain that relationship with the legislature to keep them informed.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? All right. Well, again, Addison, Dale, thank you so much for your time. Dale, continue to do what you do with figures. We'll put you, again, I'd rather you take care of that than the rest of us. So certainly please continue to do that. And if you get any insight in on the market, please share that also with us. But again, thank you both for your time and appreciate the service you do for us as retirees. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
All right. I would like to recognize Sabrina. She mentioned earlier something about sharing with some legislators. So Sabrina, I'm trying to see, would you mind sharing some information that your chapter, Lamar Delta, is doing?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, our executive board met last week, and we normally invite our people that are running in the election to come to our October meeting. But since we're meeting virtually, we decided not to do that. But we did come up with a list of questions that we sent to Brian Hughes, Audrey Spanko, Reggie Smith, and Gary Van Deaver, and I believe I can't think of the guy's name, Gary Thomas, I believe is his last name, that's running as well. But I had two people working on those questions, and we sent those to them to be answered, and we just kind of gave them some guidelines to go by, whether or not they support or they're for or against TRS divided benefits, school vouchers, charter schools, things like that. We asked them their opinion and their thoughts on COLAs, their thoughts and opinions on TRS care. And then the last question we put out there was, will there, we have certain rules for retirees returning to work. Would they be looking into that to see if those things might change? And our thought was to put those questions out there for our electors, our people that are running in this election to answer these for us. And then we wanted to post their answers to our questions on our Facebook, on our Lamar Delta Facebook page, just to kind of give everybody an idea as to what their specific thoughts and are on those specific topics that we put out there for them. So anyway, we're going to see how that goes. I did hear back from Audrey Spanko, and I did hear back from Reggie Smith, and I did hear back from Brian Hughes. So those questions have been submitted to them. So I'm waiting for those to come back. We had hoped we'd get those back before the early election started yesterday, but that hasn't happened. But we hope to get those out there as soon as we can for our membership to get that. And I want to announce too that I just got a phone call, and our unit won in Reach the Stars program that we were doing. So I want to thank publicly right now Pam Fry for working on that, our membership. I appreciate that. So we're going to get some money.
Awesome. Thank you, Sabrina, for sharing about your legislative. Appreciate that. If you'll send me your Facebook page information, I'll make sure we share that. And any of you that have information that you want to be shared on out, of course, we have a TRS District 8 Excuse me. I apologize, my dog's in here. No, we do have a web page. Got this far. We have a web page, our Facebook page, that we can share information. And I want to again affirm Becky for her hard work in getting that set up, and that we're able, again, just our lines of communication, but we'll be glad to share anything from your local unit information that deals with the legislative candidates, that we want to get that information out. And as Sabrina mentioned, those are important. What are they going to support? That supports us. And we want to know that so we can be active and our voice be heard and our vote count. So thank you for sharing that, Sabrina. And congratulations to your unit on that. It's great for District 8 to be recognized in that manner. So thank you very much. All right. All right. As we come to the end of our conference, we've made it. I want to say thank you to each of you that boldly went where we have never been before. I want to thank my officers. I want to thank my chairs for their service, their support. Please let us know what we can do to help support your local unit. Let us know what we can do for you. That's important. Ella mentioned earlier, you know, it's the journey. So it's not the destination necessarily, it's the journey we take to get there. And man, what a journey we're on. So continue your journey. Continue your journey taking care of yourself, checking on others, and praying for everyone. Seeing no further business for the fall conference, I declare it adjourned, and thank each and every one of you for your attendance today. And again, let us know what we can do for you. Ella, thank you again for sharing your time with us, and thank each and every one of you. Take a picture. Take a picture. Take a picture.
How do I get it? Okay, there you go. Come on, I can't get it. I got it.
All right.
Leaving meeting. 10:44. She got 10:44.